Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Change Your Mind podcast, where we explore personal development, spirituality, and science. I'm your host, Kris Ashley. I'm super excited for my guest today. She has this amazing oracle deck that actually is launching today, which I didn't even know until we were in the green room. So I love oracle cards. Maybe she'll even pull some. We'll see. But yeah, I'm excited for today's conversation. First, couple quick announcements. As always, head over to the links in the show notes. You're going to find a lot there. You'll find ways to sponsor the podcast. You'll find links to my books. You'll find ways to connect with me online, to connect with my lovely guest online. And as always, this podcast is part of the Los Angeles Tribune Podcast Network. We are doing amazing things in the personal development realm. We have incredible events, live events and virtual in person, pretty much once a month at this point. I was just on stage with John Asseroff and Dean Graziosi and Joseph McClendon and Sharon Lechter and Les Brown. So we have incredible headliners. Come be a part of what we're doing. We've got like a movement going, so it's pretty amazing. Come be a part of it. What if the one thing keeping you stuck is the way you think? Welcome to Change Your Mind with Kris Ashley, the podcast where science meets spirituality and mindset becomes your most powerful tool for transformation. I'm Kris Ashley, author of Change Your Mind to Change Your Reality, trainer, speaker, and lifelong seeker. For years, I battled trauma, depression, anger, chronic illness, low self-worth, and the weight of old stories. Until I discovered how to rewire my mind, reconnect with my divine nature, and consciously create a new reality from the inside out. This show is here to help you do the same. Each week, we explore the intersection of personal development, spirituality, and science, diving into topics like healing, emotional mastery, entrepreneurship, resilience, and the quantum nature of reality. You'll hear powerful stories, gain practical tools, and real conversations that will help you change your perspective, get unshakable confidence, and live the vision your soul has always known is possible. Whether you're navigating a major life shift, building your dream business, or seeking deep healing and alignment, you're in the right place. So if you're ready to break through, take back your power, and create a life on your terms, this is your moment. Let's break free from the patterns that hold us back, awaken to who we truly are, and rise. Your transformation starts now. All right, so with me today, I have Lara J. Day. And Lara is the author of The 13 Sacred Nights Oracle and creator of Neurogenic Qigong. Her unique healing method interweaves Chinese energy medicine with tension and trauma releasing neurogenic tremor work. Definitely going to ask you about that. That's super cool. She has been teaching energy art since 2003 and is unspeakably grateful for her teachers, for the practice themselves, and for the chance to view this absurd and perfectly magnificent life from the energetic perspective. Awesome, Lara. Welcome. I'm so happy you're here.
Hi, Kris. I'm so delighted to be here. Thank you.
We were just talking in the green room all about oracle cards, and then you have this amazing modality too. So we're going to get into that too. But I always start off my episodes with the same way, and that is by asking my guest, what is your origin story? So what is it that put you on this path to creating these oracle cards and starting your own healing modality?
Yeah, well, I guess it all goes back to essentially when my daughter was born. And 3 months after she was born, I tripped into chronic illness. So I have the wounded healer story that so many of us in this realm of healing arts do share in common. And through not feeling well, I met my Qigong teacher. And I remember when I went to go see her, I had no idea what Qigong was. And for those listening, Qigong is essentially Chinese energy medicine. So Qi meaning universal life force energy, and Gong meaning a good work or practice. So the cultivation or good work of cultivating universal life force energy. So I went to go see my teacher Damaris as a client, and I had no idea what she was doing. She used all these words that I had no idea what they meant. But I remember she didn't even touch me, right? This was energy work. But I got up off the table and I walked away feeling like I had been breathing underwater and didn't know it And suddenly I felt like I could breathe again. And I literally felt taller, like physically, not, I'm not talking like a subtle sensation. I mean, I went to the grocery store that I always went to every week, and I actually felt like I had a different bird's eye view of the cash register.
Wow.
It was profound and bizarre and shocking. And I was so impressed that I actually signed up for her 4-year medical Qigong training, like right then, that day. So that was my introduction. I wouldn't say complete introduction. I was already a yoga teacher at the time. I was already living in Boulder, Colorado, kind of the epicenter of everything groovy, but it was really where I started the deeper dive. And then it was actually even my Qigong teacher who introduced the 13 Sacred Nights practice to me, which is the winter solstice practice that the Oracle deck that is launching today teaches, that I created. And it's not a Qigong practice, but it is very Taoist in nature, and that it's about attuning to nature and aligning with these natural rhythms. And she actually just taught it as a part of her program. And it was really perfect timing for me because I had this brand new baby, and I was wanting to create this container of sacredness and beauty during our holidays. And everything about the winter holiday season just felt so superficial, all the hyper commercialism and the franticness. And I was really wanting something deeper, more meaningful for our family. And this practice just really arrived at the perfect time.
Wow. Thanks so much for sharing that story. So I've only ever done Qigong, but it was like movements, kind of like similar to Tai Chi, right? That's part of it. I've never like what you were describing reminds me of like Reiki almost. You're on a table and they're doing something. So will you explain a little bit more like about Qigong?
Absolutely, yeah. So there are 2 different parts to that practice. There's what you're describing, which looks like Tai Chi, right? And the greater umbrella of Qigong includes Tai Chi, which is a martial art in a form of Qigong. Again, Qigong meaning cultivation of life force energy. So the personal practices are probably what you experienced, and those can be martial art in nature, or they can be just more general for healing purposes, cultivating overall well-being in the physical body, the emotional body, and the spiritual body, right? So that would look like the personal practices. And then there is also a clinical form of Qigong, which is what I studied with my teacher for 4 years and continue to study. I'm still in her postgraduate program. It's been 16 years now that I've studied with her. But so that looks exactly like you said, more like Reiki, only we're working with the meridian lines of Chinese medicine and the point systems along the meridian lines, the 5 element system, wood, fire, earth, metal, water, all the correlating organs, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, thanks so much for explaining that. I had no idea that I didn't even know Tai Chi was part of Qigong. So thank you for explaining that. That's really fascinating. And that's really amazing that you found such an incredible teacher and you're still with her 16 years later.
No, I'm so blessed. Yes, beyond grateful. I mean, there are really no words to express how much gratitude I feel for her and having a mentor like that, especially a woman. It's really unique and special.
Yeah, that's cool. Does she live near you? Do you see her in person?
She lives in Colorado, and I did live in Colorado for 15 years. I'm now in California, so I don't see her much in person anymore, although my daughter is a possessed bluegrass musician, and so when we head out to Rocky Grass in California, I get a chance to, to check in with my Colorado community.
Very cool. Yeah, that's really fun. Awesome. Okay, so tell me about the 13 Sacred Nights, because you were describing the holidays and it's like, it is very commercialized and frantic in aspects of it, right? And I already got the sense of like peace from like what you were describing, but you like barely even scratched the surface. So I want to hear more about it.
Yeah. So the 13 Sacred Nights is a practice that basically asks us to tune into the true nature of midwinter, of the solstice season, right? And if we take a look at what nature is doing around us, trees have dropped their leaves, animals are slowing down or hibernating, even the plants and grasses typically have sort of receded back into the earth, the seeds have plunged deep into the soil, and everything is sort of drawing energy inward. And yet here we are, most of us in the northern hemisphere at least, right? shopping compulsively, overindulging in sugar and alcohol, which is taxing the physical body as opposed to conserving energy. We are jam-packing our calendars. It's the busiest time of year for most folks, flooding our lawns with LED lights, which is just like a slap in the face to the darkness. Like, no, it will not be dark. And it's really just the polar opposite. Our behavior during that time is the polar opposite of what the season really offers. And what the season is offering is this radiant darkness, this potent stillness, and this opportunity to dive inward in order to discover the light within, right? The light within the darkness. So as above, so below, as without, so within. As the sun is returning on the horizon, the daylight begins to slowly, incrementally increase again 3 days after the solstice. So solstice literally means, the root of it comes from sol sistere, which means sun, sol, sistere, to stand still. So after the longest, darkest night of the year on the 21st, the solstice in December, the sun appears to stand still on the horizon. And then after that third day, it slowly begins to move again. So the light is streaming back in. So again, as above, so below, as without, so within. As the light is being reborn on the horizon, there's this opportunity for us to witness the rebirth of the spark of light internally, which looks like a new inspiration, a new co-creative inspiration for the coming cycle of seasons. So we plant our dream seeds in the fertile soil of the darkness so that they'll sprout in the spring, bloom into their full expansiveness in the summertime. And then in the fall, we're in this richness, we're experiencing the fruits of our labor. Maybe we're reflecting on the year gone by, deciding what we want to throw on the compost pile, what we want to keep for another cycle before diving back in for another cycle of seasons. So the 13 Sacred Nights practice is about aligning, witnessing, becoming aware of these natural rhythms and really diving into what they have to offer us.
Wow, what a beautiful explanation. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like I said before, like it just sounds so peaceful, and the way you describe it, it's like, yeah, it makes sense. Like we're of the natural world. We're like meant to coincide with nature's rhythms, right?
Yeah, I 100% agree. In fact, one of my underlying core philosophies is that the more we align with nature, the more we align with our own highest human potential, right?
Yeah.
And the more we cut ourselves off and distance ourselves and try to out chemical her or out technology her, the sicker and more dysfunctional we become. So this practice is just one way, right? We can eat seasonally. We can step outside in the morning to catch the light of the sunrise in our eyes and on our skin, and we can step outside in the evening to check out what phase the moon is in and look at the stars. There's so many little ways that we can just lean into becoming more acquainted with nature and her rhythms and her pulsation and her cycles and that natural and magnificent intelligence of nature, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm a big fan of morning red light for sure. I like that you said that.
Yeah. And this practice is what I love about it is it's incredibly profound, and yet the structure of it is quite simple and magical and delightful, and it's really accessible to anyone who's at any place along their spiritual journey. It's non-denominational. You can make it your own. Whatever your belief system is, you can incorporate it into that. It's a 13-day practice, and so each day of the sacred nights, or each 24-hour period, corresponds to a month in the coming year, with the exception of the first night, which is a reflection or a foreshadowing of the entire cycle to come. And what we're doing is really co-creating a magical roadmap or an energetic imprint or blueprint for the new year. So, that's a little bit about the structure.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that the first one foreshadows everything. So do you only use the oracle cards during those 13 days, and do you just like pick a card each day? Like how do you envision it working?
Yeah, so you draw a card. The first night you draw 3 cards, which are so the oracle deck is divided into animals, herbs, and crystals. Okay. And so you draw 1 card that first night from each category, and those become your overarching themes or your guides for the entire year. And then each following night, each of the 12 following nights, you're drawing one card out of the whole deck. You shuffle all the cards together each night and draw one card, which then provides, a little bit more focused guidance for each of the following 12 calendar months. So that's how the cards are used, but there's also journaling and, you might increase your meditation, the things that you're wanting to imprint into this magical window. You make sure you do those things during the 13 nights. So if you're wanting to meditate more, if you want to dance more, if you want to cook more, if you want to hike more, whatever it is, if you want a certain person in your life, you make sure you reach out to them. So rather than just writing down your New Year's list of resolutions, you're actually doing the things. It's getting that momentum going. And then this imprint that you've created, that you've co-created, just gets swept right into your future. It's like it's on a riptide of energy. It's really profound. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it because you're writing it down, which is powerful, and then you're like embodying it, which like taking action is, what kickstarts the universe, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. Yeah. So if we were to draw 3 cards for me right now and be like, this is my overarching, like, would it wouldn't work, right? Because I would have to do it on December 21st.
Right. So this Oracle deck, it's a divining tool like any other Oracle deck. And people do ask me that all the time. They say, is it just for that time, or can I use it during the rest of the year? And the answer is that's a personal choice. I have many, many people who love the deck so much that they draw from it daily. And then I have other people who are Oracle deck fanatics, and they have many, 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 many Oracle decks at home, and they like to just tuck this one away and use it as their Sacred Nights only special Oracle deck. And either way is fine. But the actual 13 Sacred Nights practice itself can only be done during that window of time. And the reason for that is that we are tuning into real and actual and legitimate cosmic patterns, right? And so it's people do also, there's a very frequently asked question, which cracks me up every year because I get the same question every year. And I just think it's so hysterical. And it goes like this: I can't do the 13 Sacred Nights practice this year because I'm going to be at my in-laws. It's always the in-laws. And so
those damn in-laws.
And so can I do it later? And the answer is no. And part of the beauty of the 13 Sacred Nights practice is that it is a 13-day practice. And so you are learning to bring the meditation into your life rather than just saving it for the mat or the meditation cushion, right? So we're really learning to walk through these 13 days more aware, more present, and really just paying attention to this divine conversation that we are always taking part in, whether we recognize it or not. So in that way, it's kind of like a boot camp for mindfulness training because it's 13 days long. It's not your 15-minute morning meditation or even a deeper 2-hour meditation. It's a whole 13-day.
It's like an intensive.
Yes. And you have extra motivation to really be present because you recognize that you are co-creating this imprint for the entire coming cycle. So we learn to bring that